Just again, procedurally, my understanding from the Democratic leadership is that the subject matters we are dealing with today, and which I hope we will mark up tomorrow, will come to the floor not as part of the stimulus and not as part of the omnibus, but as a freestanding bill. Probably joined at the Rules Committee with the bankruptcy bill, over which we have no jurisdiction. We are dealing with several things in our discretion. Members will have a chance, obviously, to offer amendments with regard to that. My own view is, and I've been a supporter of the bankruptcy, but over and above that, there are things we need to do. Even the most ardent supporters of changing the bankruptcy law can't think that bankruptcy is fun for anybody, and it is something that ought very much to be avoided. What we're talking about today are ways to avoid that. Hope for Homeowners came out of this committee, and we passed it last year. We didn't do it well, and I acknowledge that, and it has to be corrected. We were at the time being told that we were being too lax and there would be too much spending, and the Senate even tightened it up further. We tightened it up to the point where it does not function very well. Late last year, the HUD officials in the Bush administration charged with administering it, Secretary Preston and FHA Commissioner Montgomery, made some criticisms of the program. This is largely a response to those criticisms, which seem to us to have a great deal of validity, although they weren't fun to read. We have asked the Oversight Board that we set up in the Hope for Homeowners to make it better in some other ways, and they have done so to the extent that they can, but there's some statutory changes that have to be made. Secondly, we have, even if that is available, the problem of the services. And over a year ago, I don't remember when the gentleman from Delaware first raised this with us, but he called attention to the fact that even where you had services willing to make the adjustments, the threat of lawsuits could deter them. We can't totally wipe out vested rights. We can't wipe them out at all, but you can clarify the law. And we passed this once before. It didn't pass the Senate. We have the language of the gentleman from Delaware. And again, these are the same thing. Making Hope for Homeowners work better, or work at all. Removing a disincentive for the services is very important. Those are two very important pieces. Whether or not you do bankruptcy, I think they ought to be done. It'll be another committee's decision, and the floor ultimately about bankruptcy. But it does seem to me we should be doing the most that we can to give alternatives. I do note and welcome the Federal Reserve's decision recently to mandate foreclosure reduction pursuant to the legislative authority in the first TARP bill, which said that when the federal government owned mortgages, they should try to avoid foreclosure. And the Federal Reserve has just announced they're going to do this with regard to all the mortgages they own, some which they got through Bear Stearns and elsewhere. We know the FDIC has been working on this under the leadership of Sheila Bair, the chair of the committee. I try to avoid saying Chair Bair whenever possible. And the Secretary of the Treasury has informed me that pursuant to a number of members and the legislation we adopted, although it didn't become law, that he is preparing what I hope will be a uniform federal government-wide approach to foreclosures. This is part of what is needed. There was also in this, one of the things I think was fairly overwhelmingly supported by the members last year in the TARP bill was the extension of the deposit insurance limits. And this makes them permanent. It does seem to me, and I think to others of us, a bad idea to sort of do those on a yo-yo basis. We have people who, if we don't change the law, bought a CD that was covered by deposit insurance when they bought it, but which will be uncovered before it expired as deposit insurance goes back down. I don't think any of us want to see that happen. The FDIC has also asked for increased borrowing authority. I want to stress, not because of any imminent need. We don't want to add any panic, but out of a kind of a prudent decision to be ready for this. There's a further issue that may be coming up at some point. I want to remember there's nothing in the legislation now. One proposal has been floating around is that there may be a requirement, if you want to make this work, to pay the services something. Services were not set up originally to do this. We believe that there is authority in the first TARP to do this. Some of the lawyers in the federal government have told people that there isn't. That's being discussed. If there were to be a definitive decision that there wouldn't be, then I think that there is no such authority, then I think we should get to it.